The spell within. Introduction. There is something you've been doing your entire life without realizing it. Something more powerful than action, more commanding than force. You've been casting spells, not with candles, not with rituals, but with your thoughts, your words, and the way you feel when no one is watching. Right now, this very moment, you're under one of your own spells. It might be a spell of limitation, of waiting, of almost, or it might be the kind of spell that opens doors without keys, that calls miracles by name, that turns inner certainty into outer reality. But here's the truth no one told you. You're not waiting for magic. You are the magic. Most people live their entire lives as unconscious magicians, creating pain, delay, drama, or emptiness, all with the silent authority of thought, not because they are weak, but because they never knew that every thought is a seed, every word, a command, and every belief, a blueprint for what is to come. If your life feels like repetition, if you keep attracting the same people, the same problems, the same almost but not quite moments, this isn't coincidence. It's the echo of your most persistent thoughts, and until you change the spell, the pattern cannot break. This audiobook was born from one sacred intention: to wake you up, not with soft comfort, but with unshakable clarity. It is inspired by the immortal teachings of Florence Scovel Shinn, a woman far ahead of her time, who revealed that life is not a struggle to survive, but a divine game of thought, word, and vibration. She taught that your speech has power, your faith has frequency, and your alignment with truth can override any appearance, no matter how impossible it seems. And while her voice rang out in the early 20th century, her wisdom remains untouched by time. Because truth does not age, truth resonates, and if you're listening now, it's because some part of you already knows. The outer world is only a shadow, and the real magic begins in the mind. In this journey, you won't just learn new information, you'll remember what the world made you forget, that the invisible is more real than the visible, that every emotion is an ingredient in your manifestation, that nothing changes out there until you master what's in here. This isn't about control, it's about alignment, because the moment your thoughts match your truth, the universe obeys without hesitation. So now, take a breath. Not the kind you do to survive, the kind you do to return to who you are, to what you carry, to what you've always been. The word made flesh, the energy that becomes matter, the spell that walks and speaks and loves and shapes. This is not a theory, this is not a metaphor. This is the beginning of everything you've been waiting for. Let us begin. Chapter 1. The Invisible Architect. You do not live in a world of causes. You live in a world of effects. Most people believe they are moved by facts, circumstances, or fate. But I tell you, life is never shaped by the seen. It is always shaped by the unseen. That is the great secret. And that secret sits quietly behind your eyes, whispering its commands in every thought you allow, every word you speak, and every belief you carry like a garment over your soul. Your mind is the invisible architect. It builds your relationships, draws your opportunities, and selects the exact conditions in which you walk. You may say, "But I didn't ask for this suffering, this delay, this closed door." And yet, if you trace it back, not to your wishes but to your expectations, you will find that somewhere, perhaps silently, you gave permission. There is nothing random in the realm of spirit. The law is perfect. It returns to you only what you believe is yours. And the only tool it requires is thought. When a person plants a seed in the soil, they do not cry when the tree grows. They know the outcome was wrapped inside the cause. So it is with your mind. Every thought is a seed, every word is a decree, and every vibration you hold is an invitation to life to send its match. I once knew a woman who said daily, "Everything I touch turns to dust," and so it did. Her finances withered, her relationships collapsed, and even her health seemed to erode without cause. But the cause was never on the outside. She had simply forgotten that her speech was sacred, that her word was law. The subconscious mind, dear reader, is never asleep. It is the faithful servant of your inner beliefs. It does not argue, it does not reason, it does not judge. It accepts what you say as truth and goes forth to make it real. If you speak lack, it gathers lack. If you speak love, it gathers love. And if you speak fear, it will never fail to answer. That is why the ancients warned, "By your words you are justified, and by your words you are condemned." You may not realize it, but your life has been following your inner narrative with precise obedience. Your delays, your disappointments, even your struggles. They are not punishments, they are productions. The script was written in thought, the stage was set in faith. But the moment you remember, the moment you turn and say, "I choose again," the law bends with you. The universe is not bound by the past, it is only bound by your belief in it. You can declare now, "I erase every idle word I have spoken. I forgive every limiting thought I have accepted. I rewrite my path with the ink of divine intelligence." And the heavens will answer, the doors will open, because you are not here to suffer the world, you are here to speak it into higher form. I have seen the impossible turn to dust when a person dares to change their inner speech. I have seen doctors baffled by sudden healing, business owners rise from ruin, and hearts reunited after years of silence, all because someone stopped saying what they feared and began declaring what they desired. You see, the divine does not respond to panic, it responds to precision. You cannot fool the law by wishing for light while rehearsing darkness in your mind. If you say, "I am poor," then even the wealth in your hand will slip away. But if you say, "The abundance of God flows through me," even the empty bank account becomes a temporary illusion. A new supply arrives on wings. The mind must be trained like a garden. If you do not choose your thoughts, the weeds of fear and doubt will choose themselves. They grow fast, they grow loud, but they have no power unless you agree with them. Agreement is the gateway. What you consent to, you live. What you align with, you become. And so I say to you, do not speak of the problem, speak the solution. Do not declare what is missing. Declare what is already yours in the realm of spirit. Let your words build what your eyes cannot yet see. For that is the path of the master. You do not have to fight reality. You only have to stop feeding it. Shift the thought, change the command, and the picture will begin to reflect your new vibration. Say today, "My mind is no longer a mirror of fear. It is a window for divine order." Say it not once but as often as needed, until the echo of the old is drowned in the symphony of the new. Because what you see today is simply yesterday's thinking crystallized, but what you think now is tomorrow's world being born. And the law, dear soul, is already listening. You need not wait for miracles. You are the miracle. And when you speak from the truth that lives within you, life cannot help but rearrange itself. Continue with me now, for the next chapter will show you how every word you utter, even in silence, is a spell, and how to wield that power not in fear, but in divine authority. Chapter 2. Thought as Spell. Your thought is not just a mental whisper, it is a decree, a vibration, a cause that travels through the ethers, seeking form, pulling matter into place like iron filings to a magnet. The world has made thinking seem casual, harmless, as though the thoughts you hold are like passing clouds, here for a moment, then gone. But I tell you the truth. Every thought you think is writing on the invisible slate of your reality, and the universe reads it with perfect memory. You have been casting spells all your life, not with candles or potions, but with your convictions. You speak with energy, you feel with force, and every time you repeat a fear, you give it breath. Every time you declare lack, you multiply its presence. Every time you whisper, "That's just the way it is," you seal the door that could have opened. You do not need to study sorcery to cast a spell. You need only believe a lie, speak it often, and live beneath it. That is the spell of most lives, silent, unconscious agreement with what the world says is possible. But you, dear soul, are not here to repeat. You are here to recreate. When you say, "I always fail," you're not describing the past. You're building the future. When you say, "Money is hard to come by," the law of supply must tighten its river to match your voice. When you say, "No one ever stays," you are commanding abandonment to visit you again, and the law, being impersonal, does not stop to question your words. It simply obeys. You see, the subconscious is not moral. It is mechanical. It accepts your dominant vibration and repeats it until you choose again. You must take back your spellbook, your mind, and examine every phrase you have allowed to live there. Ask yourself, is this truth, or is this just repetition? Does this honor my divine self, or does it keep me enslaved? Would I speak this over someone I love? Then why speak it over myself? The words you say in fear become the bricks of your limitation, but the words you say in faith become the keys to your freedom. I once knew a man who never ceased declaring his poor health. He would say, "It runs in my family. I expect it any day." And so it came. Not because of fate, but because of faith in the wrong direction. He had more belief in disease than in divine health, and his belief was the spell. But another man, one who was given 6 months to live, said instead, "God is my life. I live by his rhythm, not the world's." He affirmed his wholeness, gave thanks in advance, and walked in peace. And the doctors called it a miracle. But it was no miracle. It was law in action. Your life is not responding to what you want. It is responding to what you say and believe consistently. The word is creative. The word is generative. The word is law. And the most dangerous spells are not shouted. They are whispered. "I'll never be good enough. I'm always too late. Why would it work for me?" Such phrases may seem small p, but in the language of spirit there are no idle words. Every word is a brushstroke on the canvas of creation. If you could see the world that your thoughts are building, you would never again speak carelessly. You would speak only with faith, with joy, with praise, with expectation. You would say, "I am guided. I am supported. What is mine now finds me with ease." And the universe would nod and begin to conspire in your favor, not because it suddenly heard you, but because you finally spoke what was always true. There is no need to fear the power of your thought. It is not here to destroy you. It is here to wake you up, to show you that you are not small, not stuck, not helpless. You are a radiant center of divine expression, and every time you speak in alignment with truth, the world shifts its shape to match your word. So I ask you, what have you been saying? What stories are you still repeating? What spells have you cast by default, and are you willing to break them? You are not bound by your past. You are not defined by the spell you spoke in ignorance. You can speak a new word now. You can write a new decree. You can align with the vibration of love, of power, of divine certainty. Say, "I no longer use my voice to describe my prison. I use it to call forth my freedom." And when that becomes your new spell, the chains will fall, the patterns will crumble, and what once seemed impossible will stand before you in perfect order. Your thought is sacred, your word is holy, and what you declare with conviction, life must reflect. Chapter 3. Emotional Alchemy. Transmuting fear into faith. Fear is faith in the wrong thing. It is faith turned inside out, inverted, distorted, bound to appearances rather than truth. It is the belief that evil is greater than good, that darkness has the final word, and that loss is more powerful than love. Fear is a form of worship, but of the shadow. It bows before illusion, it kneels before lack, it chants the praises of danger, disease, and disappointment. And as long as fear is the dominant vibration of your inner world, your prayers will echo, but they will not land. Why? Because the law listens not only to your words, it listens to your feeling. The most beautiful affirmation, spoken without faith, is like a song with no melody. It holds no creative charge, but even a single phrase, "all is well," when spoken with deep, radiant emotion, becomes a key that unlocks invisible doors. You must understand this. Emotion is the power behind the thought. It is the fire beneath the altar. Thought may shape the intention, but it is emotion that breathes life into it and carries it into manifestation. There are those who affirm the truth mechanically. They say, "I am rich, I am loved, I am whole," but their tone is flat, their heart is heavy, and their vibration remains unchanged, and they wonder why nothing shifts. But then there are those who close their eyes, breathe deeply, and feel as if what they speak is already done. They give thanks with trembling joy. They speak their word with reverence, and the law rushes to meet them. That is emotional alchemy. You cannot speak of faith while entertaining fear. You cannot manifest beauty while vibrating in bitterness. These forces cancel each other out. The soil of your consciousness must be fertile with divine feeling, not just divine ideas. A woman once came to me, trembling with worry. Her business was faltering, her confidence was crumbling, and her every thought was saturated with dread. She had repeated affirmations. She had written them down. But still, nothing changed. I asked her plainly, "Do you feel you're good when you speak of it, or do you still believe in its absence?" She paused, and then tears came. She realized she had been clinging to words while kneeling to fear. So I gave her one new decree. I rejoice in the success that is already mine. It flows to me now with ease and delight. But I told her, speak it with joy, not like a task, but like a song of praise already fulfilled. She did. She danced with the words. She felt her cheeks flush with happiness even before results appeared. And soon, the tide turned. Clients returned. Debts vanished. The spell of fear was broken, not by logic, but by feeling. Emotion is a frequency. When you feel love, gratitude, joy, peace, you are in tune with divine mind. You are a radio tuned to heaven's broadcast, and what you desire can finally find you, because you are no longer blocking it with tension. But when you entertain fear, anxiety, doubt, your channel goes static. You still speak, but your words are buried beneath static. The law still listens, but it receives a mixed signal. And so I say this to you now. Do not simply monitor your thoughts. Monitor the emotional music behind them. Are you praying in panic? Then pause, align, shift the vibration. Are you affirming while secretly expecting failure? Then stop, turn within. Praise the truth until it stirs your soul. You cannot fake feeling, but you can choose it. You can say, I may not see the good, but I know it exists. I feel it coming. I trust its timing. I welcome it now. That small turn, that little spark of sincere joy, begins to shift the current, and with repetition it becomes a flame. Do not wait for the outer world to give you a reason to feel better. Feeling better is the cause, not the effect. When you generate the feeling first, life must follow. This is why the scripture says, "Believe that ye receive them, and ye shall have them." Not believe after, but believe as if already received. I once knew a man who was out of work. His pockets were empty, but his mind was rich with truth. Each day he walked as though he were employed. He gave thanks for the position he could not yet see. He greeted each sunrise with joy, saying, "I bless the work that is already mine." Within days, a door opened. A position became available, one he had never imagined, and he walked into it not as a beggar, but as a king who had claimed his throne. He felt it first. He believed it before the world confirmed it. And that is the secret of every spiritual victory. So I ask you now, what are you feeling most often? Is it fear or faith? Resentment or reverence? Doubt or divine expectancy? Choose again. Choose wisely. Say, I no longer give my emotions to shadows. I anchor them in the light of truth. I feel as if my prayer is answered now, because in spirit it already is. And as your emotion aligns, your vibration rises. And as your vibration rises, your word gains power. And as your word gains power, your life rearranges itself. This is not magic, it is law, it is cause and effect wrapped in spiritual understanding. Feel your way into your miracle. Smile your way into your supply. Rejoice your way into divine love. The law does not care how long you've waited. It only responds to how deeply you believe. And now, dear soul, we move forward. In the next chapter, we will examine the sacred force of spoken word, and how your mouth is not just a means to communicate, but a channel through which the unseen becomes seen. Prepare your voice, for what you speak from here on will not return void. Chapter 4. The Language of the Soul. Speak as if the universe obeys. There is no power on earth like the spoken word when it is aligned with spiritual truth. Your words are not mere sounds. They are not idle noise cast into the air without consequence. They are divine instruments, invisible commands issued from your soul to the universe, and the universe never forgets an order. The tongue is not only flesh. It is a sword, a wand, a brushstroke on the canvas of life. With it, you bless or curse. You open or close. You create or destroy. And the world you now live in is nothing more than the echo of everything you've been willing to say. You may say, "But I didn't know." Yes. And yet, even unknowing speech creates. You may say, "But I didn't mean it." But the law does not answer your intention. It answers your conviction. What you speak often enough, with emotion and repetition, becomes a decree. It becomes a living thing, a mold that your reality rushes to fill. This is why Scripture declares, "Death and life are in the power of the tongue." Not metaphorically, literally. You are always speaking something into being. The only question is, are you speaking truth, or are you repeating the world's lie? I have met people who speak in complaint as easily as they breathe. They say, "It's always something," or "Nothing ever works out for me," or "I'm just unlucky." And they believe they are simply describing their experience. But in truth, they are renewing the very conditions they long to escape. Their words are not observations. They are contracts. And the universe, faithful servant that it is, continues to deliver what they affirm. But I have also met those who know the sacredness of speech, who speak as though heaven listens, who declare, "I am guided," when the path is unclear, who proclaim, "I am whole," even in the face of illness, who say, "All things are working for my good," when others would drown in fear, and these are the ones whose lives seem touched by miracles, though it is not miracle at all, but law. Divine law responding to divine words, spoken with divine trust. You must speak from the mountaintop, not from the valley. Even when your eyes see lack, even when your body feels weary, your tongue must rise above appearances and align with the infinite. For the universe hears your soul's intention, and it is the sound of certainty, not struggle, that moves the heavens. I once counseled a woman whose heart had been broken. She would say daily, "No one ever chooses me." She wept for love but declared abandonment. Her outer reality could not help but mirror her inner command. I said to her gently, "If you want to be chosen, speak as one who is already beloved. For the soul does not wait to feel worthy. It declares its worth and the world responds." She began to say, "I am divinely loved, chosen, and cherished." At first, the words trembled, but then they deepened. Her voice grew bold, and soon a shift occurred. She stopped accepting crumbs. She stopped hiding her light, and she attracted love that reflected her new decree. That is the power of spoken word. It lifts you out of the illusion of delay. It takes you from someday to now. But hear me well. You must speak not as a beggar, but as one who already knows. When you pray, do not plead. Declare. When you affirm, do not doubt. Align. When you speak, do not echo fear. Speak as though the universe obeys, because, dear one, it does. Even your silent words carry power. The things you mutter under your breath, the phrases you repeat in your mind, these are not invisible. They are the blueprints of your tomorrows. If you say, "I'll never afford it," your world will confirm that word. If you say, "No one listens to me," your voice will go unheard. If you say, "This is just my luck," Your days will circle the same drain, but if you say, I am supported in all things, you will walk into provision. If you say, my voice is valuable, you will be met with respect. If you say, my life is unfolding in divine order, chaos will give way to peace. Do not wait for the world to confirm your belief. Let your words lead. Speak your truth, not as a wish, but as a statement of spiritual fact. Your body hears you. Your finances hear you. Your relationships hear you. Everything is listening, because everything is consciousness, and consciousness responds to command. So bless your day before it begins. Bless your body before it complains. Bless your path before it is revealed. Let your words build the road you wish to walk. Let your mouth speak only what you are willing to receive. You are not being punished by life. You are being answered. Answered by the thoughts you've believed and the words you've released. But now you know. And with that knowing comes the power to choose again. You are the voice of God in your life, not a victim but a vessel, not a spectator but a speaker of new creation. Say, I speak only what I desire. I declare only what aligns. My word is divine, and it returns to me fulfilled, and it will. For what you speak with belief, life must obey. Now, as you continue with me, we shall explore the mirror, the secret reflection that your world offers every day. For what you see is not the truth itself, but the echo of your innermost beliefs. Let us walk forward into this holy revelation where illusion is pierced and truth at last takes form. Chapter 5. The Mirror of Life. Your world reflects your word. Life never lies to you. It may hide its answers for a while. It may delay the echo of your spoken word, but it never lies. It reflects precisely, faithfully, completely, the image you hold of yourself and the convictions you dare to speak aloud. You do not live in a world of objects. You live in a world of reflections. Each experience, each encounter, each coincidence is the shadow of a thought made visible, the response of the infinite to the broadcast of your own consciousness. Your outer world is your inner world, projected onto the screen of time. Nothing ever just happens. It is written, as within, so without. And yet how many people walk through their days shocked by what returns to them? They speak defeat and wonder why they lose. They declare isolation and wonder why they are alone. They joke about failure, not knowing the universe has no sense of humor, only accuracy. You may say, but I didn't mean it. But did you accept it as true? You may say, it was just a thought. But did you feed it with feeling, with repetition, with belief? Thought becomes speech. Speech becomes experience. And experience becomes memory, which then recycles into new thought again. And so the loop continues, until you interrupt it. I once counseled a woman whose relationships always ended in betrayal. She believed she was cursed, but when I asked her to repeat the words she often spoke about herself, her answer revealed everything. I always give more than I get. I guess I'm just not enough. There was the spell. There was the mirror. Her world was simply doing what the subconscious commanded. Show me that I'm not enough. I told her, change the root, and the fruit will change. Speak only what you want, return to you. She began to say, I am deeply worthy of love that honors and reciprocates. At first the mirror was slow to shift, but she persisted, and one day the pattern shattered, not by luck, but by law. Your mirror may take time to catch up, but it must always reflect what you ultimately believe. And when you dare to speak a new truth, even while the reflection still shows the old, the shift has already begun. Never forget, the mirror cannot move first. You must. You may feel tempted to react to appearances, but appearances are only the echo of your past vibration. To change what you see, change what you say. Even if the old image still stares back, say, this reflection is temporary. I am seeing what I no longer believe. I now declare the truth of my being, and the mirror must obey. That is not denial. That is spiritual authorship. That is choosing to live from cause, not effect. I once knew a man who struggled for years in poverty. He said to me, "But it's not my fault. Look at my circumstances." I replied, "Your circumstances are not the cause, they are the result. And the cause lies in what you believe is possible for you." He had grown up hearing, "Money doesn't grow on trees. People like us never get ahead. Rich people are selfish." Those were his incantations. He had inherited limitation and called it truth. But the mirror had simply obeyed his programming, and when he began to declare, "I am aligned with divine supply, I attract money with peace and purpose," the mirror hesitated. But it cracked, then it shifted, then it gleamed. You must speak to the mirror until it reflects what you say. Not once, not twice, but until your vibration becomes unshakable. The mirror of life is neutral. It does not judge, it does not correct, it simply reveals. And what you see in the world is the vibration you've been most willing to accept. If you want more love, speak more love. If you want more respect, speak as one who is already respected. If you want more freedom, stop affirming chains. Do not describe your prison. Describe your freedom. Do not beg the mirror to change. Become the version of you that it must reflect differently. There is no need to fight the outer world. There is only the need to align the inner word. And so I tell you, bless the mirror even when it shows your old wounds, for it is giving you the chance to choose again. Bless the mirror even when it delays, for delay is not denial, it is calibration. The reflection is catching up to the frequency you now emit. Bless the mirror even when it mocks. It is not your enemy, it is your servant. And once you command the truth with conviction, it will bow. Say, "I no longer react to the reflection, I transform it. I declare what I am, not what I fear." And the world will mirror your strength. Your path will open to match your clarity, and the chaos will calm to match your peace, because what you see is not random. It is sacred, it is obedient. It is the echo of you, repeated until you become new. So speak with love, live with faith, declare with power, and let the mirror reflect not your old wounds, but your divine becoming. Now come with me to the next chapter, where we shall uncover the unseen hand behind every delay, every detour, and every apparent failure. For what seems like misfortune is often the very rearrangement required to place your blessing in plain view. Let us continue. The next word is yours to speak, is yours to... Chapter 6. Divine Delays. When nothing is happening means everything is aligning. Delays are not a rejection. It is not an emptiness that is silent. It doesn't end with the silence. According to the Bible, those who wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. What is this waiting for, though? Nor indolence. It's not patience masquerading as worry. True waiting is trust, the kind of trust that continues to declare things to be excellent even when they haven't yet materialized. Many souls falter not from hardship, but from the silence between seed and harvest. They pray and declare. They align and affirm, and then nothing. The world does not respond. The mirror remains unchanged. The bank account still whispers lack. The diagnosis does not budge. And so they say, "See, it didn't work." But I tell you, that moment, that lull, that vacuum of confirmation, is where the real battle of faith begins. It is easy to declare when the world applauds. It is easy to affirm when evidence rains like manna. But what do you speak when the sky holds its breath? What do you believe when the soil shows no sprout? In those sacred silences, the law is not ignoring you, it is rearranging reality. The invisible workings of spirit do not shout, they whisper. They flow like currents under the surface of your life, shifting people, moving pieces, softening hardened hearts, clearing unseen blockages, all to bring you the thing you dared to declare. You are not forgotten. You are being prepared. There was once a man who affirmed daily, "Divine right opportunity is mine now." He expected an answer quickly. A day passed, then a week, then a month. Still no change. But he kept the faith. Then, just as his hope began to tremble, a call came. An opportunity not only better than he imagined, but one that had been delayed by hidden events, a contract postponed, a resignation retracted, a position reopened. It had not been time. But once the alignment was complete, his word returned fulfilled. Imagine if he had given up. Imagine if he had said on day 30, "It isn't working," and allowed doubt to speak louder than his declaration. You see, there is no neutral waiting. Every pause is either fertile or fearful, depending on your inner dialogue. Do not curse the silence. Speak into it. Fill it with faith. Praise the unseen. And do not dig up your seed with anxious hands. When you say, "It's not here yet," you return to lack. When you say, "Why is it taking so long?" you begin to unwind your alignment. When you say, "I guess it's not meant for me," you close the gate you once opened. Instead, say, "Though I see it not, I know it is done. The divine works in perfect order. My good is on its way, and I rejoice now." Let the echo of your joy reach the ethers before the package arrives, for joy is the vibration that pulls forward your answered prayer. And if your blessing seems to take the long road, do not despair. Sometimes it must go the long way to avoid the traps of your old vibration. Sometimes it must bypass old limitations still crumbling. Sometimes the divine must protect you from premature possession, because what you ask for is too sacred to be delivered while your doubt still rules. The law does not delay to punish. It delays to perfect. Your timing is not the universe's timing, and thank heaven for that. For there are things you prayed for in the past that did not come, and now you see why. There are people you wanted to stay who left, and now you see the gift in their departure. There are doors you banged upon that stayed shut, and you did not know they led to disaster. The delay was not cruelty. It was correction. It was love. I once knew a woman who longed to marry. She declared her intention daily, but each romance ended. She thought she was cursed. I told her, "No, you are not cursed. You are being guarded." Years later, she met a man unlike the others. Grounded, honest, spiritually aligned, a true partner in vibration. And only then did she realize every no was a blessing disguised as rejection. Your delays are divine shields. They keep you from what does not match your deepest prayer. And so, in the quiet season, praise anyway. In the still moment, speak the word with boldness. In the face of not yet, declare, already done. This is the work of the spiritual artist, not to paint only when the picture is clear, but to keep the vision alive even in the dark. Say, "My life is unfolding in perfect order. What I seek is seeking me, and the delay is part of the design." Then rest, breathe, trust. Do not force the bloom before the root is strong. Do not pull the fruit from the tree before it ripens. Your only task is to hold the frequency. The divine will handle the form, and now, beloved soul, we step into a truth even more daring, that what resists you most strongly may actually be the sign that you're closest to breakthrough. For resistance is the final guardian before transformation, and in the next chapter we shall pass through that gate with power. Let us go forward, for your word is still alive, and heaven is still listening. Chapter 7. The Threshold of Resistance. The Storm Before the Shift. The moment just before your blessing arrives is often the moment that tests you the most. It is the gust of wind that blows hardest before the calm, the door that creaks in protest before it swings open, the echo of the old self that screams the loudest before it dissolves into silence. And this is where many falter, not because they are weak, but because they do not recognize the resistance for what it truly is, not the sign of failure, but the confirmation that a breakthrough is near. I have long taught that the darkest hour is just before dawn, not as poetry, but as a metaphysical truth. When you begin to align with the divine pattern, the old vibrations that once governed you begin to die, and like all things that sense their end, they resist, they claw, they make noise. You affirm wealth, and a bill arrives. You speak healing, and the pain flares. You declare love, and an old wound rises to the surface. But these are not punishments. They are purifications. Do not fear the storm. It is clearing the field. Do not curse the shaking. It is loosening what cannot go with you into your new reality. I once counseled a man who had just started affirming divine abundance. "I am rich," he said daily. "I am supported by infinite supply." And then his job collapsed. His savings dwindled. He felt betrayed by spirit. But I said to him, "This is not loss, this is removal. The universe is clearing away what cannot house your new vibration. If you stay true, something greater will replace it." He did. He persisted. And soon, an opportunity came not only with greater income but greater joy. The old had to break so the new could arrive. He had passed through the threshold. The threshold is sacred. It is where the old self bargains, begs, or tries to return. It is where the subconscious dredges up every reason why you should stay small. It is where every fear you've ever agreed with comes up for questioning. But it is also the place where your word can rise like a sword. You must speak truth into the resistance. You must stand in the eye of the storm and declare peace. The storm cannot touch the one who stands in alignment. It may swirl around you, but it cannot inhabit you, unless you invite it in. Do not let temporary chaos fool you into reversing your decree. If the wind howls, affirm louder. If the pain sharpens, give thanks anyway. If the world says no, you say yes with all the power of God within you. There is no resistance greater than divine will. And when your will merges with it, the storm is just a shadow, passing. There is a test hidden in every trial, not a test of punishment, but of proof. Will you choose truth when appearances mock you? Will you hold your word when all evidence disappears? Will you claim the light even when the clouds are thick? The soul that answers yes with conviction cannot be moved. There was once a woman who was affirming healing for her body. She declared daily, "Every cell of my being vibrates with divine life." Then, unexpectedly, she fell ill. The diagnosis was troubling. Her family panicked, but she did not. She looked not at the report, but at the truth within her. She said, "This appearance is the last echo of a belief I have already released. It shall pass, and I shall rise whole." She rested. She praised. She rejoiced, not because of what she saw, but because of what she knew. And within weeks her body returned to radiant health. Her faith had turned the tide. You see, resistance is not the enemy. It is the invitation to stand tall in truth. It is the final push through the birth canal of your new reality. If you feel fear, acknowledge it, and then override it with faith. If you feel doubt, look it in the eye and speak a stronger word. Say, "I do not retreat. I do not fear the storm. I am becoming what I have declared, and nothing shall keep it from me." The threshold will tremble. The old world will scream. But the new world is being born, and it needs your unwavering voice. You are not failing. You are being tested. You are not breaking. You are being strengthened. And when you pass through this storm, as you surely will, you will look back and see that what frightened you was nothing more than the shadow of your old belief losing its grip. It is written, "Be still and know that I am God." Let this stillness be your power. Let this knowing be your anchor. Now, beloved soul, you are ready to see the unseen. For beyond resistance lies a vision, a holy glimpse of your divine destiny. In the next chapter, we shall rise to that mountain and look out over the landscape of possibility. We will learn how to see with spiritual sight, to call forth not what is, but what shall be. Come, the storm has passed. The light awaits. Chapter 8. Spiritual Sight. Seeing what hasn't happened yet. Faith does not wait to see before it believes. It sees long before the world catches up. You were given two sets of eyes, one to perceive the outer world and one to behold the inner kingdom. The former shows you what has been created. The latter shows you what is yet to be, what lives in the invisible, waiting for your agreement to come forth. Most people trust their physical sight more than their spiritual vision. They say, "I'll believe it when I see it," and so they become prisoners of delay, chained to appearances, unable to rise beyond the limitations of the visible, but the soul who walks with power says, "I will see it, because I already believe it." What you see with your spiritual sight becomes your new blueprint, and the more you revisit it, the more the universe begins its secret work of matching that vision. Imagination is not fantasy. It is the language of creation. All things visible were once imagined. Every home, every song, every movement of progress, all began as invisible pictures impressed upon the mind of one who dared to see what others could not. The same law applies to your life. If you want love, see yourself already in the glow of it. Feel it wrap around you like light. Walk as one who is already cherished. If you want healing, see your body not as it is, but as it shall be. Strong, vital, luminous. If you want prosperity, picture your hands full, your needs met before they arise, your life flowing in divine ease. This is not pretending. This is preparation. For the soul must first believe it lives in the kingdom, and then the world will reshape itself to reflect that truth. I once counseled a woman who longed to start a school for children, one rooted in kindness and creativity. But she had no building, no teachers, no funds, only a vision. She said to me, "I see the children laughing, I hear their voices, I walk through the halls in my mind, I even bless the walls before they exist." And I said to her, "Then it is already done. Hold that vision until the world has no choice but to mirror it." Within a year, the opportunity arrived. A space was gifted. Teachers appeared. Parents came forward. The school opened, not because of strategy alone, but because one woman saw what others could not and spoke what had not yet formed. You must become blind to appearances and wide-eyed to the unseen. Do not describe what is. Declare what shall be. Do not dwell in what has been. Dwell in what is being prepared for you. Do not identify with the past. Envision the self that already walks in the light of answered prayer. And visit that vision daily. Nourish it with love. Speak to it as a mother speaks to a child still growing in the womb, knowing it will arrive in due season. If doubt creeps in, return to the vision. If delay troubles you, return to the vision. If the world argues with your faith, return to the vision. Say, "I walk by faith, not by sight. I see what others do not. And because I see it, I shall live it." This kind of inner vision is what Scripture calls the evidence of things not seen. It is your proof, not in the outer world, but in your heart's unwavering conviction. And that conviction has weight. It has magnetism. It draws substance to form. The clearer your vision, the more undeniable its arrival. Never let anyone tell you to be realistic, for the realistic mind creates only more of what is, but the spiritually aligned mind creates what has never been and makes it real. I once met a man who saw himself as an author long before he had written a word. He said, "I am a writer. My book is a blessing. My words touch lives." He spoke it with such clarity, such conviction, that the world simply conformed. He wrote, he published. His work found the hearts that needed it, not because he had credentials, but because he had sight. You are not bound by what your eyes show you. You are not limited to the present form. You are a co-creator with spirit, and the first step of creation is vision. So now, beloved listener, ask yourself, what have I been too afraid to see? What dream have I locked away because the evidence did not yet appear? What part of me still believes I need proof before I claim the promise? Release those fears. Dare to see again. Your spiritual sight is not a luxury. It is your compass. It tells the universe what you're ready to receive. And once you hold that vision with love, it will come. Now, walk with me to the next chapter, where we shall explore the divine choreography behind all things, and how every moment, even the seemingly insignificant, is being arranged for your highest good. You have seen what is possible. Now, let us learn to trust the path that leads there. Chapter 9. Divine Choreography. Everything is working for you. There are no accidents in the life of the awakened soul. There are no wasted steps, no lost moments, no detours that lead to nowhere. even when you do not see it. Even when your mind calls it chaos, your life is being choreographed by a hand far more wise and loving than your own. You may call it God, you may call it the law, you may call it divine intelligence, but it is always present, weaving, aligning, preparing, and perfecting every detail of your journey. And the great secret is this: the pattern only becomes visible when you trust it before you understand it. We are trained to question every turn, to doubt every delay, to fear every interruption. But to the soul that walks by faith, every twist is a dance step. Every no is a redirection. Every closed door is a movement away from what would have harmed you, toward what is truly yours. I have often said, nothing can be lost that belongs to you, and nothing can stay that is not divinely yours. This is not just a comfort, it is a law. And once you understand it, peace will flow like a river through every season of your life. You do not need to force anything. The divine is already doing the heavy lifting. Your only role is to stay in alignment with the truth and allow. I recall a young woman who had been left heartbroken by a man she believed was the one. She had poured her soul into that love only to be left behind. She came to me in tears and said, "Why would God allow this?" And I said to her, "God didn't take your good. He removed what blocked it." At the time, she couldn't see it. But months later, she met someone who honored her in ways she'd never known. A partner who mirrored the love she had finally begun to cultivate within herself. And she said to me, "Now I understand. If I had stayed where I was, I would have missed this blessing entirely." You see, we often beg God to save what we're meant to outgrow. We cling to the familiar, forgetting that our good cannot come while we hold hands with what no longer serves us. So the universe, in its mercy, moves it, and though it feels like loss, it is actually liberation. You must learn to say, "I may not understand this yet, but I know it is for my highest good." When the door closes, bless it. When the person leaves, release them in love. When the road changes, say, "This too is part of the path." Life is not random. It is responsive. It is responding to your vibration, to your declarations, to your spiritual readiness. If something is leaving, it is either because you have outgrown it, or it has outgrown you. If something is delayed, it is because its timing would have fractured your growth. If something is not here yet, it is because your inner world is still being prepared to hold it. There is a divine timing to all things, a choreography that no eye can see. But once it plays out, you will weep with gratitude for the things that didn't go your way. I once knew a man who missed a train by 2 minutes. He was furious. He cursed the delay. But that train was later involved in an accident. His delay had saved his life. He came to me with wide eyes and said, "I will never again question the unseen guidance of the divine. Trust this, the law never makes mistakes. Your role is not to control the rhythm, only to dance with it. And when your mind screams, 'Why is this happening?' you must answer, 'Because something better is aligning.' Let this be your mantra. All things are working together for my good. Even this, especially this. Your life is not a straight line. It is a sacred spiral, always rising, always returning to truth, always expanding toward greater freedom. If you had been given everything you wanted when you first asked, you would not have had the depth to hold it. You would not have recognized the gift inside it. You would not have known how to protect it. But now, you are being shaped into the version of yourself that can walk boldly into the blessing and not sabotage it. So bless the process. Bless the waiting. Bless the mystery. What seems broken is breaking open. What feels lost is making space. What looks like the end is always a beginning. Say, "Divine intelligence arranges my life in perfect order. I surrender the how and trust the rhythm. I live by guidance, not fear." And with that trust, you will begin to notice something strange and beautiful. Moments will link together in impossible ways. People will show up at the exact right time. Obstacles will turn into open doors, but only after you stop trying to kick them down. This is not coincidence, it is confirmation. That heaven is not far. It is orchestrating every detail through the very breath you breathe. Now, dearest soul, let us step into our final chapter. For we have seen the power of thought, the authority of speech, the perfection of delay, and the vision that creates worlds. But all of it, rests on one final law, the law of love. And in this last sacred lesson, you shall discover why only love completes the magic. Let us finish this journey where all things begin, in the heart of divine love. Chapter 10. Love, the master frequency that unlocks it all. Love is the master key. It is the divine current that flows through every law, every word, every manifestation. Without love, the magic of your thoughts is like a lamp with no flame, perfectly shaped yet unable to shine. Many speak affirmations. Many understand the law of vibration. Many declare boldly into the silence. But if the vibration behind their words is cold, fearful, or resentful, the results they seek remain at a distance. Why? Because love is the frequency that grants life to all things. Love is not weakness. It is not emotion alone. It is a force, the highest and most magnetic of all. It is the very vibration of God. When you speak with love, the universe listens. When you act with love, the world softens. When you think with love, the divine blueprint within you activates, and the soil of your reality becomes fertile ground. Love does not push. It does not force. It does not grasp, beg, chase, or control. Love knows. Love trusts. Love waits in peace, even when appearances seem barren. I have seen the law work most swiftly in those who purify their heart of bitterness, who speak well of others even after betrayal, who bless what they fear until fear dissolves, who release what they cannot change, not in defeat, but in compassion. One woman came to me after years of stagnation. She had spoken the word, affirmed prosperity, declared healing, yet nothing moved. I asked her, "Have you forgiven?" Her eyes dropped. She had been holding on to an old hurt, replaying it like a wound that never closes. I said, "Darling, the universe cannot deliver peace to a heart still playing war." She wept. She released. She forgave. And within days, her life began to blossom. You see, resentment is a wall. Jealousy is a closed gate. Anger is a magnet for more of what you do not want. But love melts walls. Love opens gates. Love draws your good with invisible cords of light. There is nothing more powerful than a heart anchored in love, for it cannot be shaken by delay, insult, or fear. Say to yourself, "I walk in love. I release all that binds me to the past. I forgive myself and others. I open the door to divine harmony." Forgiveness is not weakness. It is alignment. Gratitude is not naivety. It is power. Compassion is not passivity. It is command over the inner world. Even your thoughts begin to shine differently when rooted in love. They become less frantic, less attached, more aligned with truth. And the universe cannot help but respond to such purity. When you love freely, you place no conditions on your joy. You do not say, "I'll be happy when." You say, "I am happy now, and therefore what I seek will come to me." For love is not a reaction. It is a radiation. It does not wait for proof. It becomes the proof. In the world's eyes, love may look foolish, but in divine law, it is the only true intelligence. For only love sees beyond the surface. Only love calls forth the highest good. I knew a man once who prayed for reconciliation with his estranged brother. Years passed, no word came. He grew bitter. Then one day he decided to release the outcome, to simply love him from afar, to bless him in thought each day, and without warning, a letter arrived. The relationship healed, not through force, but through frequency. That is the power of love. It transcends time. It pierces illusion. It restores what fear has broken. The magic of your thoughts cannot blossom fully without it. Because love is the soil, the sunlight, and the rain. It is what gives life to the law. So I ask you, beloved soul, what are you holding back? Where have you withheld love? From others, from yourself, from the divine? Let it flow now. Let it rise like a river that no longer wishes to be dammed. Speak love. Think love. Walk in love. And then, watch what happens. Your desires will come, yes. But more than that, your being will change. You will no longer need to chase what you once begged for. You will become the vibration that attracts it all, without effort, without struggle, because the truth is, the most magnetic soul is the one who loves without fear. You were made to radiate this light. You were created to embody this law, and now you are ready. So go forth, not as one who seeks power, but as one who has remembered it. You are not waiting for your miracle. You are the miracle. And when you think with love, speak with love, and live with love, the world becomes your mirror. The magic was never in the thought alone. It was in the spirit behind the thought, and that spirit is love. Let this be your final affirmation. Everything I think, speak, and do is charged with divine love. I radiate peace. I attract only my highest good. I am one with the law, and the law is love. Now step out into your world, not with effort but with expectancy, not with doubt but with delight. You have remembered the secret, and the secret was always love. Conclusion. And so, dear soul, you have walked the path, from the unseen spark of a thought to the divine frequency of love. You have remembered that your mind is not a prison, but a portal, that every word you speak casts a vote for your reality, that your vibration writes your future long before your feet arrive. Let no one steal this truth from you. Let no delay, no appearance, no voice of doubt turn you back from what you now know. The magic of your thoughts is not fiction. It is law. It is spirit. It is the echo of the Creator moving through you, quietly, patiently, waiting to be remembered. As you go forward, remember this. You need not force. You need not beg. You need only align. And from that alignment, miracles become natural. Peace becomes your home. And love becomes your language. This is not the end. It is your beginning. Walk now, knowing that what you think, you become. What you love, you draw near. And what you bless becomes divine. Bless your thoughts, bless your path, and most of all, bless your becoming. The law is waiting. It always was.